Okay, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another monthly reading wrap-up as I do every single month. Is anyone shocked at this point? No, because I do it every month. So yeah, let's get into it. I read a total of 11 books this month, which is pretty good for me, especially during this time of the semester. I was honestly shocked I read this many, but I conquered and I did it. So everyone be proud of me. Thank you. So the first book I started out with was none other than Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh. This is the fourth book in the Boys of Tommen series. It is the second book of Joey and Aoife, or Aoife. Don't know how you say it. But I say Aoife, so that might be wrong. I don't know. But I obviously gave this book a 5 stars. I will give every single Boys of Tommen book a 5 stars. Like, this series just has a special place in my heart. I just absolutely love it, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people should read these books. I would check the trigger warnings if you don't know what this book is about or what this series entails. It does have a lot of triggering subjects and very, very sensitive topics that are discussed in it. So I would be aware of that when you go into reading it, or if you want to read it, I just would check that to see. But this book follows Joey and Aoife, and I will say these books are more character based. If you're looking for like plot and like a story, these books are much more character based. I just don't know how to describe what this book is, because it just follows like characters and their development and their stories. So yeah, I gave this book a 5 stars. Obviously my favorite book of the month. It wasn't a little book hangover or book bump, as I like to call it, because I just couldn't stop thinking about these characters. As soon as I read a Boys of Tommen book, I immediately just can't stop thinking about the characters. I absolutely love it, and I highly recommend it to anyone who will listen to me. And yeah, please go read them. They are very long and the font size is very, very small, but that literally, like, I read it like faster than I read some romance books sometimes, just because it was so good. Like, I sat down on a Saturday and just read like so many pages. It was amazing, and I want a book to make me feel like this again, so I highly recommend it. The next book that I read was finishing off what's so far come out of the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. It is Twisted. This is a dark romance. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was my second favorite in the entire series. I really enjoyed Yasmin and Julian's relationship. I thought it was so good, and the tension that was there, and just the build up to their relationship, and the way he showed his, like, how he cared for her. It was just so cute, and I absolutely loved it. Questionable things happened in it. Obviously it's a dark romance, but I thought it was so, I love the relationship. They definitely did not beat Scarred for me, but it was a very close second. Like, these two books, like Scarred and Twisted, are the best ones in the series, like hands down. Like, absolutely devoured them, loved it, and I'm excited for the new release. I will be purchasing that. You bet. Really enjoyed it. Go read the series as well if you're looking for a dark romance. It's so good. The next book that I read was The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. This book also has triggering stuff, so I would look up the trigger warnings in this. It deals with a victim of sexual assault and her journey and her thoughts and just her life after it. Very, very sad. I did cry sometimes in this book. It was just very emotional, the way she talked about it and the way she dealt with it. I gave this book a 3.75. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so this is the third book. Stop. Oh my god, guys. This book, I gave this book a 4.75, okay? Because listen, I didn't get a 5-star feeling when I read it. You know, every reader has a 5-star feeling. I didn't get it, okay? And that's just like my fault, like something with my brain, like I don't know. But this book is so good. Like, I've heard a lot of people say they don't like it because this is like kind of a love triangle romance, and it's a like sports romance kind of ish. And there's something that happens in it that probably a lot of people wouldn't like, but I thought it made the story so good. Like, the thing that happened in this book, like, literally broke my heart and shattered me into pieces, and I was not okay for a little bit. Like, I was like sobbing in my bed. My roommate was right there sobbing. Like, I was crying, and I did not think this book would make me cry. I heard a lot of people say it made them cry, and although I am a very easy crier in books, I was like, this book's not gonna make me cry. Huh? Wrong. And the quotes in here, and the way the main, oh my god, this book boyfriend in this book, I'm gonna need a moment, because he was so in tune to what she wanted. The way he expressed his love was amazing. How he like stayed after what happened, everything about him was so good. some of the characters in here I literally wanted to punch in the face. I was like, why are you here? I understand you're here for the plot, but I don't want you. 4.75 stars. Would recommend it. It is so good. I think you should check the trigger warnings because I feel like, I don't know, I just would in general, just like for any book, like if you want to be aware of what's happening in here, because I feel like a lot of books deal with some depth that I feel like you should look up, but this book was so good. Like, I really recommend it. If you haven't read it yet, I mean, like, I bought this because everyone was talking about it and it was people's 5-star reads. And if you haven't read it yet, go read it. Oh my god. One of my other favorite books that I read this month, I had such a good reading month, but the 3 books that made it into the top 3 were Redeeming 6, Say You Swear, and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I gave this book a 4.5 stars. Oh my god. Let's talk about this book. I talked about this a lot in the reading vlog that I did when I was just reading in a week. I read this book and Say You Swear in it, and I talked about my thoughts in there. But this book, I have never felt the connection that I felt to a character before in my life than I did in this book. Like, Jacob was such a relatable main character. I found myself highlighting and underlining so many thoughts that he had. I identified a lot with Jacob during this book, and I just, like, I have never felt that way about a book, and it made me, like, think about this book so much and how much I related to it. Like, the main character has anxiety, and I don't know, I just, like, I loved him as a character. And the girl I also loved, she was such a great character as well. Oh my god, I can't say anything bad about this book. This book was so good, and I want to read more Abby Jimenez because this was my first book by her, and I know it's a part of the Part of Your World companion series, and I didn't know that. And I suddenly want to read every single book she's ever written. The way she wrote this book, I was in love with it. But they're like doctors. She hates them at the beginning, and then they, like, obviously fall in love, and, like, other stuff happened. But it's such a deep story. Like, it's deeper than just a romance. I need to stop talking about it, but it was so good. Like, really. Okay, now we're gonna move on to my most disappointing read of the month. The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I gave this book a 2.5 stars, and I don't really give out 2.5 stars that much. I'm starting to more because, like, why should I be afraid of a 2.5 stars? If I didn't enjoy it, I didn't enjoy it. Like, I should just be honest with myself. So the premise of this book is they hook up one night at his sister's wedding, and she was the bartender at his sister's wedding. So they hook up and they eventually meet again on the dating app because they both are, like, single. And they meet on the dating app, start talking, and they make a wager to see who can fall in love with other people on the dating app. And if you win, you get something. Like, she wants, like, a vacation, and he wants whatever he wanted. And eventually, obviously, they fall in love. They have a friendship before they fall in love. And I thought the premise of the story was really good. I was really interested, and I absolutely loved Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. One of the best rom-coms I've read. Like, I just thought it was such a cute rom-com. Loved it. This one, however, did not hit for me. I thought some of the dialogue was really cringy. I didn't really enjoy the characters at all. I just felt myself, like, pushing myself to get through. I don't DNF books very much. Like, I don't ever DNF a book. I will literally read it even if it takes me, like, a month. Like, I will read it. And I just felt myself, like, I wanted to get through it so fast, so I was, like, reading it really fast. I just really wanted to get through it. I was not enjoying it, and I know I should have DNF'd at that point, like, if I wasn't enjoying it, but I spent money on it, so I was like, I'm gonna read it. I just didn't like it, but I know a lot of people did, so if you want a rom-com and you like Lynn Painter's writing, read it. But I just didn't like it, so 2.5. There's that. I have like 5 more books to go. I don't know how people do this with 20. So the next books that I read were a trilogy. So I read The Kiss Quotient, The Bride Test, and The Heart Principle. So let's talk about them. The Kiss Quotient, I gave a 3.5 stars, really enjoyed it. I had no problem getting through any of these books. They were such enjoyable reads. The writing was good and easy to read, and I really enjoyed reading this entire series. So The Kiss Quotient is about Michael and Stella. Stella has Asperger's, and she has a hard time with her sexual relationships, so she hires an escort who is Michael to teach her about them, and they basically just follow their journey. Very entertaining, and I love the connection between the two of them. It was so good. Then I read The Bride Test, which follows Kai and Esme. Kai has autism, and his mom tries to find him a wife in Vietnam, so she flies her back to live with him. So it's kind of like a forced proximity, and Esme is the girl, and she's like trying to seduce him so she can live in America and like marry him. But I really liked this one. I gave this one a 3.5 as well, the same rating as The Kiss Quotient. flew through this one, really enjoyed it. I really liked Kai as a character. I really liked him as a character a lot. That was that one. So then we move on to The Heart Principle, which follows Quan and Anna. Anna is a musician and she's like kind of having a rough time with her music. She also has autism. She's trying to deal with that and deal with her own emotions of like kind of sticking up for herself with her family. So they meet on a dating app. They're trying to like have a hookup, but obviously it turns into a relationship, and I really enjoyed this one. These two are your typical rom-coms. Obviously they deal with deeper issues, but they're like mostly just rom-coms, fun and easy to read, right? This one, however, a rom-com, but like kind of not really. It's kind of really sad in some parts and really deep with the issues it faces, and I feel like I enjoyed this one much more because of that. I gave it a 4 stars. I really enjoyed reading this one just to see the personal growth that especially Anna went on throughout this book. Like the way she started in this novel, the way she ended, like I absolutely like loved her. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy this one as much. It was kind of their least favorite, but I loved it and I would recommend this one a lot. The second to last book that I read is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. This is a mafia dark romance. I filmed a reading vlog for this. That is my latest upload, so go watch that if you want. I absolutely love this. I gave this book a 4 stars. It was so good and makes me so excited to read the rest of this series. It is about Callum and Ada, and their families are very much like they hate each other. Their families don't like each other, but when something happens, when she like literally sets ablaze to their house, their families decide to make them get married. And during this marriage, she tries to kill him. And it's kind of like that kind of back and forth, enemies to lovers. It was so good. The tension was there. The dynamic that they had with each other and all of the other characters in this book, I absolutely loved, which is why I'm so excited to read the rest of it, because I just loved a lot of like every single character in this book. So good. If you're new to dark mafia romance, or if you're looking for more, go read this. And the last book that I literally finished on the last day of April, like I was like, I'm gonna finish this book. I read King of Pride by Anna Huang, which is her newest release in the Kings of Sin series. This follows Kai and Isabella, and I gave this book a 3.75. I was really looking forward to their story, and I really was excited, but I enjoyed it less than I did Dante and Vivian's, so I gave it a 3.75 because I'm pretty sure I gave Dante and Vivian's a 4. Yeah, I didn't really feel the tension between the two of them, and I honestly thought it was a little like dull in some parts, kind of, but I really did enjoy both of them as characters individually. Like Kai was such a good character and such a good book boyfriend also. Like he was a really good book boyfriend to her, and I liked her as a character. She was very outgoing. She didn't care. She was like, I'm gonna be who I am, and this is just me, and I loved that. Like I loved her character. But some of the parts of the book was a little boring to me, and I felt like the breakup that they had was kind of unnecessary to me. You just broke up because in a romance there's a 3rd act breakup. Like it was kind of meaningless to me, their breakup. But that being said, I will be reading every single book Anna Huang puts out because it was good writing. Like I loved reading it, but it was just like the plot that I was like kind of a little bored. So read it if you want. But yeah, these are all 11 books that I read in the month of April. It was a very, so sorry the angle change. I'm gonna try and wrap this up before my phone falls again. Those are all the books that I read in April. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more of my face, because I'm going to be posting a lot in the summer. I'm so excited. Like, oh my god, I'm so excited to get out of here and post a lot and like just film whenever I want to. So that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!